Hollywood Capitol Studios in the basement.
Right. That's
what
right.
kind of memories are in those walls?
Ooh, let me just tell you what came bleeding out of there while we recorded. So fortunate, number one, you walk into the same studio that, my mother and father recorded in, and the magic, it's a magical room. I mean, they don't make rooms like that.
You can't recreate it.
No, and just the feeling of being in there, and how many people have passed through those walls and created magic. So it was a special opportunity, and we really, I think it did contribute to the magic we put on this CD that's coming out. Definitely had a blast.
Well, I know your father's got a star on the boulevard, so that's another thing will live forever. Where is the star located?
It's actually right down on Vine, right in front of the Montalban Theater,
Wow.
and my management team, Michael Licata and Seth Udoff from UD Factory, Michael was pretty much instrumental in instigating him getting a star. The Walk of Fame committee we don't give stars to dead people. So, it was tough. My mother tried for a lot of years, and just through relationships and treating people right, we got it done. I got to play for it. What a fantastic experience. And no person, Godzilla had a star. Louis Prima deserves a star.
I mean, I was just over there in front of the four Beatles, Roy Orbison, Buddy Holly, Chuck Berry. I mean, rock and roll was born on these streets, and your father had a lot to do with incredible music that came out of so many great eras in the past. When you go back and listen to that music and get a feeling for what the lifestyle, what it was all about back then. I mean, it's hard to talk about the good old days, but what when you look back and see the era, that his music was created, what stands out?
He started in the 20s in New Orleans when he was a kid, and he was big in the 30s, big in the 40s, big in the 50s, big in the 60s, big in the 70s, and what set him apart and acts like him, like the Beatles, like AC/DC, so many iconic acts. What they did was entertain, man. They played honestly. They weren't trying to force what they were doing. They were having more fun, I think, than the people in the crowd.
If no one was there, they'd still have
exactly.
fun.
And I say that about our band all the time. There are moments we're having so much fun, you forget the crowd is there.
Yeah.
It's like playing in your best friend's backyard in high school all over again, and it's that's a missing part of entertainment. Entertainment nowadays is very cookie cutter and very cut and paste and very, you have to stand here and you have to move there, and what happens if you're not over here? Just get up there, man, and have fun.
I mean, heaven forbid radio. They got so compartmentized, and you got to fit this format, and then all of a sudden you got a bunch of artists that sound alike.
Right.
You look back at even the 60s and 70s, so many artists were so diverse.
Right. Well, I tell people all the time, when I was in high school, I'd go see Michael Jackson tonight. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow night was Patti LaBelle. The next night's Black Sabbath. Mm-hmm. You didn't.
The Beach Boys.
You didn't quantify that. There wasn't. I listen to alternative, I can't listen to country. There wasn't that kind of thing. And I think
if it moved you, it was good music.
And what we've got going now, people are like, what genre do I fit in? I don't know. It's very.
Your own box.
This mix of whatever's going on and whatever's coming out of us. There's no forced effort to do what we're doing. We're just having fun.
Yeah.
And you can call it rock, swing, gospel, blues, jazz. I don't care what you call it. Have fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, pop's music endured through all those, the wars, the depressions, talk about some of those eras that you think his music probably helped people get through.
But, definitely coming out of Prohibition and things and moving into World War II, my father's music was when he hit New York, there was this style of music that they didn't understand. You had the Perry Comos of the world, no offense, and then you had my father, who was boisterous and sexual and everything he was, and putting on this show. And it's so much, music to me is so much about forgetting what's going on in the world.
Escapism.
Music to me is the cavemen pounding on rocks, trying to forget they're being chased by dinosaurs. Yeah. It's not singing about what's bad in the world. It's
celebrating the moment.
And that's what he gave, you know. And when I listened to his big band, especially, you know, when he had the big band going, and there's the Tommy Dorseys of the world and the Benny Goodmans of the world, and my father was doing that jump swing comedy, feel good, joking, making fun of the music act as a big band. And you know, you listen to it and you can't help but smile. And that's what music's supposed to be. You know, we're not supposed to be singing about wars.
Well, especially if there's a war going on. I mean, the whole country was affected.
Right.
So, you know, if you weren't fighting in the war, you had to find some kind of enjoyment.
You gotta have that escape. You know, that's what I say about us. You know, we're making you forget the world exists 1 hour at a time. Smile, just forget it for 1 hour.
Yeah.
You know, that's the greatest thing as an entertainer, is being on stage and looking out and knowing that somebody here is having the worst day of their life. Somebody here is having a really bad day, and you know what? Make them smile. Make them forget for 1 hour they lost their house, whatever the story. You know, it doesn't matter. It's about music is escapism, like you said. It's escapism. It's enjoyment.
Yeah.
It's a party. It's throwing your hands up and you know, letting loose.
Yeah. So, I mean, you were born into music. I mean, you had to have it from the crib till you could walk. So, what was it like? When did you start first getting your musical inclinations yourself?
And I started playing drums when I was 5. You know, where there's music around, and life was kind of normal to me. I didn't see music around me. You know, you kind of don't know it.
Yeah.
But the true bug didn't hit me till after I graduated high school. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to get a degree, and I started sitting in with friends of mine's bands. And man, the second I got on stage, and that, I don't want to call it power. It's the most gratifying experience in the world, making people happy.
Yeah, making the world a little better place.
What a blessing, you know. And God knows there's no money in this. There's no, you know, very few people achieve, you know, superstardom. It's a love of what we do, and
you're rich on the experience.
It's good for me. It's good for the people, and we're just having a blast, man. And his music, give it a shot. You know, people of all genres respected my father and his music and his contribution.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Well, let's talk about that, because the mighty Van Halen that came from Pasadena right over the hill here is the biggest rock group in the world. And Mr. David Lee Roth says, this music speaks to me. Just the Gigolo and all that was part of his DNA. When did you first hear David's version of that?
Right away, you know. Being involved in, you know, rock and roll, you know, and getting a chance to meet him, and you know, he was very honest about it, as is everybody. You know, I saw interviews with Ronnie James Dio, where he talked about his, you know, he played trumpet because his father played trumpet, and he idolized Louis Prima. I met Snoop Dogg, who knew who Louis Prima is. You know, and I think it pays homage to my father, not necessarily as a musician, but as an entertainer, because people just kind of want to emulate that style. You don't want to make, you know, nobody wants to make people sad.
There's a zillion musicians, but very few entertainers.
And, you know, to have these acts, and I mean, they're countless numbers of people, to have them pay homage as they go through life, it's, you know, it's neat. It gives him, it gives a man that, you know, he's frowned upon in the jazz purist community because he's a joker on stage. I don't think he gets the credit where it's due. You know, nobody. You walk around and people don't know he wrote "Sing, Sing, Sing." You know, so it is important that the artists know and appreciate.
Sure.
Because that's, you know, that's rare.
I mean, what was like that to turn on MTV and see your father's music come back
so cool.
that many years later?
It is so cool.
And David had such a swagger, he made it his own.
Well, and he paid tribute, and he said, this was because I loved his music, and this was a master. Yeah. You know, and he did it well. You know, as most of them.
And this is one of the greatest frontmen in rock history.
Absolutely.
I mean, what he got from Pops, man, is emulated through stadiums and the US Festival, 300,000 people headlining that kind of energy.
It's you know, it's neat. it just gives him the credit where it's due.
Yeah.
Give him the credit where it's due.
Very exciting. Now tell us about the new project. It's about the recording. What is it that you're most proud of?
Seriously proud of all of it. You know, when I put this together 2006 and decided to do this genre, I never wanted to be a tribute act. I never wanted to just do my father's music. I love his music, don't get me wrong, but you know, as an artist, you want to be appreciated. So I always had in my mind, I'm going to find a band, I'm going to find guys that believe like I believe, that act like I act, that we all get along, we're having a blast. Let's do an album. Let's do an album of all my favorite stuff, and let's twist it up like it's 2012. And I lucked into Warrior Records and Jim Irvin. They distributed the first album, and very early in the conversation, he came to me and said, I want album number 2. I want to hear what you write. And I go, we can do that. Let's get this out of the way. Let's move along. He came to me last year and said, are we ready to go for number 2? What do you got? And I said, well, give me a couple months. And we got together as a band, and you know, there's bits and pieces of here, bits and pieces of there. I think what I'm, you know, and it came together very easily, and it's honest, and it's soulful, and it's not contrived. Nobody set forth to write a song. It just kind of happened. What am I most proud of? The whole thing. As a body, it's energetic, it's boisterous, it's honest. There's no trickery in the recording of it. It's 10 guys having a blast.
You get that live energy.
Dude, and it comes out on the CD. You know, it definitely, you know, you hear these watered down CDs and overproduced things.
Nobody's in the studio at the same time.
No, this was a mutual effort on everybody's part, and we had a blast doing it. I think it sounds, you know, as an artist, you're not very proud of a lot of things you do. You're your own worst critic. Mm-hmm. This is a brilliant piece of work. I truly love it. I look at my kids and his friends. You know, my oldest is 20, my youngest is 16, and him and all his friends dig it.
Incredible.
And that's important.
Yeah.
You know, that it plays forward. And that's what I wanted for this music. I wanted it to be not a tribute, but an extension, moving it forward.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of people want to live in the past, but it's important to take from the past and move forward.
Exactly. You know,
nothing's original. We all take from something or everything we've ever loved.
And it's, you know, it's 2014. Play it like it's 2014. I'm not playing in a speakeasy.
Right.
You know, I'm playing.
This is Hollywood 2015 in a minute.
We're rocking. It's truly the funnest music. I'm having the time of my life. I'm the most blessed person in the world with the guys I get on stage with me every night. And they're, you know, I can't do it without them. This wasn't me writing an album. This was us writing an album. This is us creating music. And it's the greatest feeling in the world.
Sure. Now, all you've seen through the industry, what advice do you give to that young creative person that wants to write, they want to perform, they want to be in a band, they want to star on Hollywood Boulevard someday? What do you tell them? What do they need to focus on? And
it's tough to do, but if you don't stay honest to what you believe, you know, you're just not. You know, I gave up music a couple times because people wanted to change what I was doing, and you know, here I am, how many years later, with what I wanted to do in the 20s when I wanted a record deal, I wanted to play for people. Yeah. And I'm doing it. And as long as you stay true to yourself, as long as you practice and learn your craft, don't think you're the best player, singer. It's not true. There's always going to be somebody better. You've got to work and you got to practice. Don't let anybody tell you not to. Work at what you're doing and enjoy yourself along the way. Don't take yourself too seriously, and don't sell out, man. That's got to be the worst feeling in the world. It's got to be the worst. I've got friends. Yeah. It's got to be the worst feeling.
You got to hate every minute of it.
You know,
they're a puppet for somebody else.
Exactly. Stay honest to yourself. Practice what you're doing, man. I look at my son. He's a talented kid. My youngest plays. You know, forget about my oldest. He's talented beyond whatever. My youngest, just everything kind of comes easy to him, but he sits and works. He sits every day and he works and he learns. And if you can't do that, if you can't learn from everybody you come across, get out. Get out. You know.
What a lot of people don't realize is most of these people that are emblazoning these stars on the boulevard, including the Beatles over there, they took chances.
Oh yeah.
While everybody was going left, they went right.
Yeah.
And they were really good at going right. And now all of a sudden, everybody was following them. Yep. And then somebody had to go left again.
That's right.
You know, it's the trailblazers that we love to pay tribute to. Your father was a trailblazer. You keeping not only a bit of his music alive, but keeping the music that's inside of you alive is very important.
It is. You know, we're not. You know, I could have sold out many times and done what they told me, and you know, we're not. It's always been very honest and true to ourselves, and nobody's doing this music right now. Nobody's doing what this band behind me is doing. Yeah. Nobody plays like this. Nobody explodes like this. And I just hope people, like you said, get it, listen, and go, wow, these guys, they're doing something different. They're doing something honest, and they're doing something cool.
From the heart.
Give it a shot, you know, because it is fun, man. This is fun music. Fun music.
This is not brain surgery. You're giving people a guttural, you know, direct punch of adrenaline, you know, and Lord knows we need it, you know.
We definitely need to have a good time a little bit more often. We need to forget the world exists a little more often. You know, you got to enjoy yourself while you're here. We're not here for too long. Before you know it, you're gone. And what did you contribute to the world? Did you say hi to a stranger when you walked down the street? Did you smile at somebody? Or did you walk around staring at the ground? I don't want to stare at the ground. Hey, Louie Prima Jr., you know, if you believe in yourself, you believe what you do, it's inside of you, baby. Indie power is where it's at.